this is Mary and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I like to show you how to make simple yet very adorable things. And because Valentine's Day is just around the corner, I want to show you how you can make these watercolor flower bouquets. Aren't they so sweet? I did them in red and pink, and then I did another one in the yellows. So happy. You could give something like this to your sweetheart or to a coworker, to a neighbor, a friend, anyone that you care about. So I will outline the simple materials you'll need, and then we'll walk through how to do this together. And I promise you it will be fun. So come along with me. For this project, you'll need just a few simple supplies. First of all, I'm using a 5x7 sheet of watercolor paper. This is cold pressed paper. Also to have on hand would be a black pen or marker like this. This is a Pentel metal tip number 7, and that's for the line work on the project. A pencil and an eraser. And then I am using my Mungyo 48 color watercolor set, but you could use any watercolors that you have on hand. And then I would recommend a couple sizes of brushes. One would be for the flowers and the other one for the stems. So I have a size 10 Princeton round brush, and I also have a size 2 Princeton snap brush, and it's also a round. And a pair of scissors, some fresh water for rinsing your brush, and some paper towel is always handy. And if you decide that you're going to cut out your flower at the end like I did here and mount it, then you'll also need to have some little foam squares like this. And I'll put a link in the description below to all of these supplies. So let's get started. So we're going to start first with the bouquet, and we're going to use a technique called wet and wet. And what that means is we're going to put down like a circle of, we're going to moisten like a circle on our watercolor paper, similar to this size right here. And then we're going to drop paint in like we did here, where you see the little dabs of paint dropped in there. So we're going to get started first of all. Now the trick about this is not to use too much water. So we're going to just do a circle about the size that you would like your bouquet to be. And you don't want it to be sopping wet, but you do want it to be wet enough. So there is a little bit of a learning curve there, but if you lift it up, you don't want to see water drops on it. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to make yellow roses this time instead of the pink and red roses, just to give this another look. So I'm going to start out with yellow first. I'm just dabbing into my yellow and just dropping some in there, and see how it spreads. As soon as I put it down, it spreads a little bit. So we're going to just do that a few times throughout the bouquet. And we want to change it up a little bit, and we're going to try this other shade of yellow. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of white to it. So I've got like I think it's sort of like a metallic white that I'm going to add it, but I'll just make it a shade lighter. And then we're going to drop some of that into the paint. Let's see if that looks any different. It looks a little different, not a lot, but it does look a little. You can see it's a little bit lighter. And also then I thought I might use a little of this gold that I have here. And I'm going to add some yellow to it. And we'll just see how that looks in there. We want to give the roses a variety of yellow colors. It makes the painting much more interesting. So let's try a little bit of this. I think I'll add a little more gold into that, so there's a little more contrast. There we go. Like that. And I think we're good to go. So now all we have to do is to let this dry a little bit. I think I'm going to add just a tiny bit more over here, like that. Now we need to let it dry, and then we'll come back and we'll do the next step. Okay, so it's all dry, and you can tell if it doesn't glisten anymore, which this doesn't glisten, and if you touch it and it doesn't feel cool to the touch. So now that that's dry, we're going to work on the stems, and then we're going to come back to the bouquet. Now the stems, I like to use various shades of green to make it really pretty. So I'm going to just dip into my paint set and choose several shades of green. And also I wanted to say, to make your lines thin for the stem, you just do a very light touch to your paper. So let's give that a try. And it always helps to dab your paintbrush on your paper towel before you get going. So just very light brush strokes. I could even be doing lighter than that, but you just have to get in there and just, anything will work actually. So I do love a mix of colors, and you'll see after we get this going, it'll all come together. Then I like to take some of the same greens and go inside the stems to pull it together. And I have this one green that is like an emerald green, and it's a darker shade. Actually, this is the green I was meaning. All right, something like that, and I think I will add a little bit more of this lighter green. And some of the stems can be longer, like that. All right, now we'll let that go. And now we can get back to work again on our bouquet. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to take, so now that this is dry, we're going to go back in with some of our yellows and maybe even just a tad bit of this orange, which is a very light orange. Might try that also. And we're going to make a little bit more bold marks for the flowers. And really there's just nothing scientific about this at all. You're just giving the impression of a bouquet of beautiful flowers, beautiful roses, or whatever flower that you can imagine. So I'm going to go in and add a few more spots here of color. We'll do a little bit more of this goldish color. I think I need to add a little more gold, like so. And some of this white we will mix in with the gold, and that's even a shade lighter. Okay, now we'll let that dry. Now we're going to add a little bit of green to our bouquet, much like you see on this. You see the little hints of green in there? So we're going to do that. You can use any shade of green you like. I'm going to go back to my shades that I used in the stem. And also I might even add a few little leaves, like so. And all of these they'll all blend in when we get done here. And just little hints of green throughout the bouquet. Some little leaves off the edge. So it takes that real roundness away and gives it more of a natural look. And we'll do just one more there and just little bits like that. And now we're going to let it dry again, and then we can do the line work on the flowers. Now this part I really love. What we're going to do is use our black marker or pen. You want to make sure that your bouquet is dry all the way. and we're going to loosely sketch some flowers. And when I say loosely, I mean we're not going to be holding our pen real tight and drawing real carefully. We're going to be holding our pen back a little ways, and we're going to be kind of like scribbling. But you can see the effect that it brings. It's just very loose and whimsical and very sweet. So that's the next thing. So you just sort of imagine where the flowers are, and a lot of these little round globs are where we'll start with our flowers. So in order to make it look kind of like a rose, I guess, it could be a different type of flower, but in order to make it look somewhat like a rose, I like to just start out by making just a little oval, and then just bring your circle out like that. We'll do it again, a little oval here, and then we'll just loosely do like that. We'll do another one, a little oval, but very loose, and just like that. You see how it's starting to come alive now? You can really see, oh, there are roses in there. Now, as we get close to the edge of this, on this one, we might want to have the oval be more like this, kind of like you're looking at it like it's pointing, kind of the flowers pointing up. And maybe we'll have just a little baby rose over here, like so. So just keep going very loosely with your pen. Keep drawing in those roses. And I will do the same. There we go. Okay, now we still have quite a few blank spaces on our bouquet. So also we have these leaves. So I want to show you, you can just very loosely outline those leaves. Don't try to be exact. The whole idea here is to be loose and have fun with it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to outline the whole bouquet, but in a very loose way that gives you the feeling that there's more roses back there. So just nothing straight, just hold your pen loosely, like so, like that. And then we can go in and we can add in a few more roses if we want, or we can just add some little marks in here. Whatever you want to do. There, I think that looks pretty nice. What do you think? Okay, now the next step is I want to join the stems just a little bit more to the flowers. I want there to not be such a stark difference between the stems and the flowers. So I'm going to just use a little water, not a lot, just a little water, and I'm going to just blur where they join, just like that. And then you can bring it down and just blur it just a tiny bit. Don't go overboard with that part. And also, you could do the same with your bouquet. You could blur it a little bit out here, but I do find sometimes that less is more. So with that being said, I think I'm going to stop right there. So now I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to draw some loose lines into the stem. So now that the stems are all dry, we're going to just loosely draw some suggestive lines for the stem, much like you see here. So again, you don't want to draw straight lines, and you don't want to have your fingers and thumb close to the end of your pen. You want to hold it back a little bit and just let it go. So here we go. We'll just draw some loose lines, and it's even fun to make some of them go outside of the color. And it's just suggestive of some stems, just like that. Now you could call your project completely done if you want. You could write a sentiment here or around the bouquet and give it for Valentine's Day or a birthday. Or if you'd like, you can cut it out like I did here, and we'll mount it on another piece of paper. So let's do that. Just like when we were painting, we want to cut loosely, so you need not cut right along the lines. I like to leave a little bit of white on my cutouts. I've been kind of on a kick lately of cutting out my paintings because I think it makes them look extra cute. I don't know, what do you think? So there we have it. So you could use it just like this, or you could use the foam mounts. I had a 5x7 card already made, some cardstock already made, and I found this really cute colored cardstock that I cut out a 4x6 of that because I thought, how happy is this? Can you see that? So happy. So now you could also just tape this on here. I use double stick tape or however you like to put it on. That would be adorable. Or we could put the foam squares on, and that's what I think I will do. And also at the beginning of the video, I forgot to mention that if you'd like to, you can also add a piece of ribbon on here, like so. You could also use some twine, you could use string, you could even cut out a paper ribbon, anything you like, just something cute that looks like you've gathered it around the stems of the flowers. So we'll put the foam core squares on the back. So I put 4 foam squares on the back, and when I turned this over, I had to laugh because it had yellow paint on it. And I just want to tell you that I'm very frugal with my supplies. So if I start a painting and it doesn't turn out the way I like, then I just flip the paper over and paint on the other side. And who's gonna know? So we've got that on, and then we'll just push this down a little bit, and we'll have an adorable little dimensional card. And it just is enough that it just gives it a little shadow beneath it. And then we'll attach the bow. I'm using tacky glue to put on the bow, and this is to me like a miracle glue because when you put it on, it just seems to stick right away. It seems like it works so well. So I just use a popsicle stick to put the glue on, just a dab on the middle of the bow, and just press it down, and that's all you have to do. It doesn't really slide around if you just leave it alone. I hope that you really, really enjoyed this project, and that you find that you have a friend or a loved one that you can give your flowers away to, or frame them for your home, or put them on your fridge, or whatever you like. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked my video, I really would appreciate if you'd subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.